We also have the other big headline, which is the GST Council will be meeting on the 7th of October. Sources say that the council is likely to deliberate a proposal to levy 18% GST on corporate guarantees extended by holding companies and subsidiaries. Also, there may be some relief for liquor companies with GST on molasses likely to be slashed to 5% from 28%. Pratik, Jain, partner at Waterhouse, and MS Money, partner GST at Deloitte, join us now to discuss about the likely agenda of the GST meet. Mr. Money, let me start with you. What tops your list this time around? What is the expectation?
I think what you mentioned in respect of corporate guarantees is something where there is certainly a need for clarification. I'm not aware of whether it will get taken up or not taken up, but this is something which we need at some point of time. Because in the last few months, we have seen GST audits for periods starting from 2017 starting. And in many of these audits, the issue in respect of corporate guarantees issued by a large company to its subsidiary or to one of the group companies invariably gets picked up. And to me, the question is not an 18% being levied. The question is, should it be levied on a presumptive basis? Because in most of the cases, there is no amount that is charged between the two parties. A group company gives a guarantee to its smaller company or someone who needs that guarantee, largely because it's part of the same group. So when there is no commercial transaction between the two entities, how can a GST be levied? Because GST is levied on the value. So here there is no open market value also which is available. So ideally there should be no GST on this. But if it is felt that there is a need for a GST, then I would say that similar to the provisions that we have for transfer pricing and income tax under the safe harbor rules, we should have some kind of a presumptive tax over here. It can be on 0.5% or 1% or 0.1%, which is treated to be the value. And on that value, a GST is levied. This will inevitably lead to situations where the recipient entity is unable to take a credit, either because it is exempted or it is an NBFC or any other reason. So either it is not able to take the credit or the credit is restricted, which will lead to a credit loss. And that is the reason, ideally, in respect of corporate guarantees, there should be no GST because there is no commercial value to the transaction. And if there is a need, it should be done in a very calibrated manner so that there is no credit leakage at any point of time.
Okay. Gentlemen, good morning. Prashant here. Mr. Mani, what is the size of how large an issue is this?
It's a fairly large issue, Prashant, because most of the corporates keep issuing guarantees to their subsidiaries, smaller companies which don't have a very strong balance sheet, etc. And it's part of a normal business transaction. I mean, if I have a large organization and a small organization, it's perfectly fine. It's my business decision that my large organization gives a guarantee to the small organization, to an external third party. And as long as I don't charge for it, to me, there is no GST play in this. But if there is a need for a GST play perceived by the policymakers, it should be very clear on what value it is to be, levied. It should not be the way it is done, where the issue is getting picked up in every single audit that we have seen.
No, our notices have already been sent out on this?
These are part of the audits. These are the part of the audits. So audits go through a certain cycle. So there is a pre-consultation notice which is issued, and then there is a final notice that is issued. So this is already figuring in many of the pre-consultation notices.
Okay. All right. Got it.
All right. Pratik, wanted your comment as well on this issue, and how do you see things playing out?
So Mani has already said, right? So notices have been issued to a lot of companies already. It is an issue which has come after GST has come in, right? Because before GST, service tax was there, where free of cost transactions were not liable. Under GST, even if it is a free of cost transaction between related parties, it is liable to GST at 18% in this case. The issue is wherever credit is available, not a problem, but typically corporate guarantees are issued in large infrastructure projects, power, construction, and so on, where credit is not available because there's no output tax there in many cases, and hence this 18% becomes a cost. The real issue, so there is a debate whether it should be liable or not because it's a shareholder's function, right? Because I am a holding company, I am giving a corporate guarantee on behalf of my subsidiary. Now, is it my shareholder's function and hence not be taxed, or is it really a service which I am providing to the subsidiary? So that's really a debate. Now, if the government feels that it should be taxed, it should be taxed prospectively, to my mind, and they should provide an exemption for the past period. And B, as Mani says, it can't be equated with bank guarantees because bank guarantees are different in concept. There is underlying asset, security, and so on. It should be a fraction of the percentage that bank would charge to provide a guarantee, and therefore some more engagement with the industry is necessary before you actually put a clarification saying it's liable, because the value at which it is has to be paid has to be seen. Otherwise, it become a cost for the industry, right? So it's going to be a significant cost.
Okay, so you're saying that corporate guarantee should be taxed prospectively, not retrospectively. Anything else, Pratik, before we let both of you go? Anything else that we can expect from the meeting?
One, there was a group of ministers which was set up for rate rationalization a couple of years ago. Now that group is not functional because the chairperson is not there. So now that group has to be reconstituted. We need to start that process of rate calibration. We have 5, 12, 18, and 28. We need to collapse these 4 rates into 3, and we need to start having a debate on that. So that's one expectation that I have from this council meeting.
All right. Okay, gentlemen, thanks a lot for joining in. And we won't have to wait too long. Day after tomorrow is when the GST Council meeting takes place.